Hi, this is Teacher. So let's learn how to divide fraction to their lowest term. So division of fraction to their lowest term. All right. So now let's take for example, we have 144 divided by 120. All right. Now there are divisibility rules that you must adopt. So let's start with the divisibility rules for 2. When do we know, or how can we know when to use 2 to divide? How can we know when to use 2 to divide? Now, you can use 2 to divide if the last digit is an even number or ends with 0. I repeat, you can use 2 to divide if the last digit is an even number or 0. So, you check the last number. If the last number is even number like 2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and the rest. Alright, if the last digit is an even number or 0, then you can use 2 to divide. Alright, so now, this digits 144 divided by 120. So the 4 right here is an even number, and 0 also is an even number. Do not forget. So that means I can use 2 to divide without a remainder. Let's try that. Alright, so I will divide this by 2, and I will divide this by 2. So what am I going to have? If I divide 144 by 2, so let's start. 1 cannot divide 2, so I'll pick 14. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. Then the rest is 4. The 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that gives 72. So that means 144 divided by 2 will give you 72. Alright? So let's go to the denominator. 1 cannot be divided by 2, so I'll make it 12. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I'll be left with 0 there. So 0 divided by 2 is 0. So that means 120 divided by 2 will give you 60. So I have 144 divided by 120 to be 72 over 60. Alright? Then I need to divide again. Check the number. This is 72. The last digit is an even number. Do not forget. Let's check for the denominator. Is the last digit at the denominator side is an even number? Okay. 0 is the last digit here. Then 0 is an even number. So therefore, I can use 2 to divide both the numerator and the denominator. Remember, they must be the same number if you want to divide. You must divide them by the same factor. Alright, so 72 divided by 2. How do we do that? So I'll start from the 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3 remainder 1. So the remainder will be put in front of the 2, becomes 12. Then 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that means 72 divided by 2 is 36. Over. Then I'll go to the denominator. 6 divided by 2 is 3. There's no remainder, so I'm moving on to 0. Then 0 divided by 2 is 0. Alright. Now I'm having 36 divided by 30. Alright. So 36 divided by 30. 6 is an even number. So that means it can be divided by 2. So let's check the denominator if it is an even number as well. The last digit. 0 is an even number. So that means I can still divide by 2. Let's divide by 2 again. Alright, then I'm going to have 3 divided by 2. 3 divided by 2 is 1, and the remainder will be 1. So the remainder will be put at the back of the 6 here, becomes 16. So this will give you 16 because of the remainder. So now you can do 16 divided by 2. What's 16 divided by 2? 16 divided by 2 is 8. So that means 36 divided by 2 is 18. Then you divide 3. Let's check the denominator. So 3 divided by 2 is 1, but remainder 1. Put the remainder at the back of the next digit, which is 0. So that makes it 10. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now I'm having 18 over 15. So 18 over 15, if you look at it very well, let's check. 8 is an even number. It can be divided by 2. But 5 is not an even number. So that means I cannot use 2 to divide any longer. So let's check for another digit that I can use to divide both 18 and 15 at the same time. I've considered the 2. 2 cannot be used again. So let's look at 3. Can 3 divide 18 and 15? Yes, it can divide it. But take note, before you can use 3 to divide set of digits, then you must make sure that the sum of the digits can be divided by 3. What do I mean by the sum of the digits? For you to know when to use 3 to divide, then add the digits. If I add 1 and 8, I will get 9. Then 9 can be divided by 3. So that means 18 can be divided by 3. Now let's check it out for the second one, denominator. 1 plus 5 is 6. Then 6 can be divided by 3. So that means I can divide both 18 and 15 by 3. Alright? So 18 divided by 3, because 18 is on the 3 times table. So 6 times 3 is 18. So that means 18 divided by 3 is 6. Then 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now, at this stage, I don't have any common factor between 6 and 5. But I cannot leave my answer this way because it is an improper fraction. So what do you need to do? You need to change it to a mixed number. So how do I do that? 6 divided by 5 is 1, because there's only one 5 in 6. The remainder is 1. Then you put over 5 there. So this is the final answer. Alright? Let's take another example. What if we have 630 divided by 756? Six 630 divided by 756. How do I go about this? Alright, you check the two sets of digits, the numerator and the denominator. This numerator ends with an even number, which is 0. And this denominator ends with an even number, which is 6. So that means I can use 2 to divide both numerator and the denominator. Okay? So divide by 2, then divide by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. There is no remainder, so I move on to the next digit, 3. Then 3 divided by 2 is 1, remainder 1. So you put the remainder at the back of the next digit, which is 0. That will be 10. Then 10 divided by 2 is 5 over, so divided the denominator, 7 divided by 2 is 3 remainder 1. We put the remainder in the front of the next digits, that turns to 15. So 15 divided by 2, that is, there's no 15 in a 2 times table, but something closer to 15 is 14. So 2 times 7 is 14. So that means 15 divided by 2 is 7 remainder 1. So that the remainder will be put at the back of the next digits. That makes 16. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I'm having 315 divided by 378. Now, let's check on what to use to divide again. 5 right here is a prime number and is odd number. So it's not an even number. But 8 is an even number. Because 5 is not an even number, I cannot use 2 to divide any longer. They must be even number. Both of them, both the numerator and the denominator, must be an even number before I use 2 to divide. Alright, how would I consider the 2? Let's consider 3. So how do I know when to use 3 to divide? Remember, you must add up all the digits and see if 3 can divide the sum of the digits. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Then 4 plus 5 is 9. So definitely 9 can divide the numerator. 3 can divide the numerator. 3 can divide the numerator because the sum of the digits is equal to 9 and 3 can divide 9. Beautiful. Then let's check the denominator. 3 plus 7 is 10. Then 10 plus 8 is 18. So 3 can divide 18 as well. So that shows that both the numerator and the denominator can be divided by 3. Now let's check it out to see what we're going to get if we divide this by 3 and this by 3. Alright, so now let's start. 3 divided by 3 is 1. There's no remainder. Okay. But I cannot divide 1 by 3. So if I cannot do that, then I'm going to write 0. Because I cannot use 1 to divide 3. So after I've written the 0, then I'll pick 1 and 5. They'll become 15. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that shows that 315 divided by 3 is 105. Divided by, alright? So for the denominator, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 7 divided by 3 is 2. Remainder 1, the 1 will be put here. Becomes 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Now I'm having 105 divided by 126. Alright, so 105 over 126. Let's check out on what I can use to divide again. Obviously, 2 cannot divide 105 because 5 is not an even number. So I cannot use 2 to divide that. But the denominator is an even number. Still, I cannot use 2 to divide because both the numerator and denominator must end with an even number because, so I cannot use 2 to divide. So I'll consider the next digit, which is 3. So let's use 3 to divide. Let's see if you can use 3 to divide. Add 1 plus 0. That turns to 1 plus 0 is 1. Then 1 plus 5 is 6. So 6 can be divided by 3. Fine. So let's check the denominator if it can be divided by 3 as well. before you can use 3 to divide, you must make sure that the sum of the digits can be divided by 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3, then 3 plus 6 is 9, and 9 can be divided by 3. So therefore, I can use 3 to divide both the numerator and the denominator. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Alright, so let's check it out. 1 cannot be divided by 3, so I'll make it 1 and 0. 1 and 0 becomes 10. So, because 1 cannot be divided by 3, I will write 0 down. If I pick 1 and 0 becomes 10, then 10 divided by 3. 10 divided by 3 is 3, remainder 1. You put the remainder here, becomes 15. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. Alright? Over. Then, I'll check for the denominator. 1 cannot be divided by 3, so I'll put a 0 down. Then I'll make 1 and 2 to become 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. There's no remainder. So I'll move on to the next digit, 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now, I'm having 35 over 42. Alright, so what can divide both 35 and 42? Let's check it out. 2 cannot divide because 5 is not an even number. But 2 can divide this because 2 is an even number. But I cannot use 2 to divide because both numerator and denominator cannot be divided by 2. So I'm going to consider the next digit, which is 3. So before you can use 3 to divide, then you sum it up. If the sum of the digits can be divided by 3. So 3 plus 5 is 8, and 8 cannot be divided by 3. Alright, that means I cannot use 3 to divide. Though if I had 4 and 2, it will give me 6. You are right, but you must make sure both numerator and denominator share the same factor. Because the numerator cannot be divided by 3, then I cannot use 3 to divide the denominator. Let's think of 4, the next digit. How do I know when to use 4 to divide? You must add the last 2 digits. When the sum of the last 2 digits can be divided by 4, then you can use 4 to divide. Unfortunately, no is the answer here. So what can we use to divide? Okay, what if you try 6? Before you can use 6 to divide, then the number must have been divided by 3 or can be divided by 3. And 3 cannot divide it, we've confirmed that. Okay, let's talk about 7. 35 divided by 7 and 42 divided by 7. Yes, because both 35 and 42 can be found in the 7 times table. So I can use 7 to divide both. So 35 divided by 7 is 5. And 42 divided by 7 is 6. This is a proper fraction and there's no other factor that can divide 5 and 6. So the answer will now be 5 over 6. Alright. One more example then. 168 divided by 24. 168 divided by 24. Alright, how do we go about this? Confirm. You always start with the 2, the smallest number, which is 2. So check out if 2 can divide both 168 and 24. 8 is an even number and 4 is an even number. Definitely 2 can divide both the numerator and the denominator. So divide by 2 and divide by 2. So 1 cannot be divided by 2. I'll write 0. Then pick 1 and 6 together, becomes 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Then move on, there's no remainder. Then move on to the next digit, which is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Over, then check for the denominator. 2 divided by 2 is 1. There's no remainder. Then 4 divided by 2 is 2. Alright, now I'm having 84 over 12. Alright, 4 is an even number, can be divided by 2. 2 is an even number, can be divided by 2. So let's use 2 to divide again. 2, 2. So 0 divided by 2, 0. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then 12 divided by 2. Okay, let's start. 1 divided by 2, 0. Then I'll make it 12. 1 and 2 becomes 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Alright, now I'm having 42 over 6. So 42 over 6, I don't need to beat around the bush because 42 can be found in the 6 times table, of which I know that 7 times 6 is 42, or 6 times 7 is 42. So therefore, 42 divided by 6 will give you 7. Alright, so you can try this. 504 divided by 56. So drop your answer in the comment section. Thank you.